Congressman, as always, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
These revelations by the FBI, the nonsense with Downer is an extraordinary revelation, but made all the more extraordinary by the lateness of the game, the lateness in this moment in which we learn about it from the FBI.
Well, you're absolutely right, Lou, and the deep state is a lot like a bad sweater. Every time you pull a string, more and more starts to unravel. When Democrats took up the cause of some of the deep state actors and said, well, it wasn't the dossier that caused spying on President Trump's transition team, it was this, drunken conversation in a London pub with George Papadopoulos, it certainly would be appropriate context to know that the very person that was trusted as the historian of that conversation had ties to the Clintons that exceeded tens of millions of dollars. What we've learned, Lou, is that so many of these scandals tie back to the Clinton Foundation because the Clinton Foundation was the bribe-taking apparatus that allowed the Clintons to be able to use their influence to always avoid consequences and trouble. Here's what we know. If Attorney General Jeff Sessions does not appoint a second special counsel, the Clintons will get away with it again. And the folks at the deep state will get away with it again, because as much as we can do in Congress to expose facts, to tell the American people what happened, we can't go put handcuffs on anybody. We can't impanel a grand jury, and we can't throw anybody in jail. That's why a second special counsel is needed. The FBI and the Department of Justice can't investigate themselves, and we need to hold people accountable for the crimes that have been committed.
You know, a week or two I might have argued with you on the need for a second special counsel. It is now time for Jeff Sessions to step up as Attorney General and to name a second special counsel. The weight of the argument has grown with the addition of Judiciary Chairman Goodlatte and Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy now calling for a second special counsel. By the way, just days after he said he didn't want any such thing, and he's persisted in that through the past several months. But now the question becomes not only a decision by the Attorney General, but where the hell is your Speaker and the leadership of the House adding their weight to this demand for a second special counsel in order to prosecute Clinton corruption and Obama participation in all of that?
Well, Trey Gowdy and Speaker Ryan are very close, and I would have every confidence that they've had discussions before the chairman of the Oversight Committee essentially reversed his position and went from taking the view that the Department of Justice could investigate these matters to now holding the view that we need a second special counsel. And so I'm sure the Speaker was consultant. It's also important to note, Lou, that when the FBI didn't want to turn over records, when they didn't want to share with us text messages, Speaker Ryan was in our corner, and he did help us in that regard. But again, Paul Ryan can't...
If I may interrupt you. Congressman, the Speaker of the House is not paid to be an interlocutor in a dark room somewhere remote from the action. He is supposed to be a leader. He is supposed to add his weight of that office and the House of Representatives to every call that is made by the members. Your conference right now is facing a midterm. And if you all screw this up, good luck, because I believe we'll see a Democratic House in 2018 because the leadership of the House of Representatives and the Senate failed to take seriously the call for the end of a two-tier justice system in which Hillary Clintons are dismissed. Obama is allowed to build a franchise and an ode to himself in Chicago's South Side and let life go merrily on. This is a time for accounting. And this is a time to show the American people what this president is showing them, that it's time to get the job done.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And it's my expectation that the drumbeat for a second special counsel and real accountability will only get louder. It was 7-8 months ago that the first group of members of the Congress said, look, this is something so significant that it requires a second special counsel. And now as more evidence comes out, more people come to our cause. But it's important to know there is one person in the United States government that can fix this. There's one person that can appoint a second special counsel, get a grand jury impaneled, detailed, put the facts together, and finally force the Clintons to live by the same justice system that the rest of us live by. That person is Jeff Sessions. My concern is that Jeff Sessions has been acting more like an employee at the Justice Department than the leader of the Justice Department, and I understand President Trump's frustration with that. We need an attorney general that works with the administration
no
for the rule of law.
Yeah, and let's go to that point. If the Speaker of the House will now step forward with some of his leaders, but not the entire leadership of the House, and Jeff Sessions decides to ignore the letters, those who have implored him, including yourself, as one of the principals, it is going to, the frustration will simply mount. And why in the world your leadership isn't joining with you on this issue and all of the other members who are now calling for prosecution and a special counsel to investigate the rampant corruption, much of it centered on the Clintons, and of course President Obama, who politicized, and one might argue relatively easily, that weaponized the entire intelligence community under his administration.
Yeah, and I think we've got to ask questions about what President Obama knew and when he knew it. That's why it's so important to get responses to the questionnaires that Devin Nunes has set out regarding who had possession of the dossier, who passed it along to other folks. And Lou, you and I both know that there are both Republicans and Democrats in the establishment in this town that were doing everything they could to undermine Donald Trump, both before and after his election. And so I don't think this will be a partisan issue. I think we're going to find people who are bad actors, who are both Republicans and Democrats. And what you're right about is that if we don't take real action and show accountability, our voters will throw us out, and we'll deserve it because we promised to drain the swamp. And I'm tired of seeing the alligators swim around, seeming ever more comfortable by the day.
Congressman, well said as always, and we want to acknowledge your leadership and your early participation in the call for the second special counsel and to clean up that damn swamp. Congressman Matt Gaetz, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. And a reminder tonight is